First, however, I want to weigh into a contentious debate that's barely begun. The debate about enshrining an Indigenous voice to Parliament in the Constitution. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese seems set to take this to a referendum without ever telling us exactly what we'll be voting for and against. He wants to do this with a minimum discussion outside the cloistered and political quadrangle. Clearly, we have to do more to ensure that Indigenous Australians have the opportunities that the rest of us enjoy. We're failing badly on that count, which is why I'm prepared to give the voice an open mind at this stage until Anthony Albanese decides the time's right to share the details, as he must if this is going to have any chance of succeeding in a referendum. But on what we know so far, I've got some serious questions. Beginning with this one, the obvious one. Why do we need an Indigenous voice in Parliament at all? I mean, what can a voice to Parliament tell us that 11 Indigenous voices in Parliament cannot? 9 of the Indigenous voices in Parliament were elected at the last election. Every state in Australia, except Queensland, has an Indigenous voice in either the House or the Senate. The Northern Territory leads the way, as it should, with 3. There are Indigenous voices in Parliament from across the political spectrum, representing Labor, the Liberals, the Country Liberals and the Greens, plus an independent. Among them is the powerful voice of Senator Jacinta Price. Jacinta Price is a Warlpiri woman from a remote settlement of Yuendumu, 400 kilometres from Alice Springs in the middle of the Tanami Desert. Price wasted no time in making her voice heard in her maiden speech. She took a chainsaw to the prevailing narrative of Indigenous victimhood and colonial oppression. She dismissed the pious ritual of welcome to country, saying she'd had her fill of being symbolically recognised. Take a look.
Our aim should not be to blame our current democratic institutions for all our perceived failures, but to encourage individual responsibility of all Australians. Where we fail is where we encourage others to believe responsibility for one's own life can be avoided and their disadvantage can be charged to another. We need to focus on nation building, not nation burning.
Well, Price was described as a conservative firebrand in one newspaper, which I suspect is a badge she'd wear with pride, but since the newspaper in question was the Sydney Morning Herald, it probably wasn't meant as a compliment. But look, here's the point. Whether you agree with Price or not, her arrival in the Senate is a victory for diversity. And by that I mean true diversity, the diversity of something that matters, diversity of opinion. Her forthright maiden speech highlighted an inherent problem in the voice to Parliament idea. Whose voice will it be? Will it be a voice like that of Price, one that prefers practical measures to symbolic gestures, one that seeks equal opportunity rather than equal outcomes, one that rejects separatism, respects the Australian flag and resonates with unabashed national pride?